Hey guys, let's get more news from Steelers, but first don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your like. Kenny Pickett injury could push Steelers to violate a massive unwritten NFL rule. The Pittsburgh Steelers have long served as one of the NFL's model organizations, both because of how they've conducted themselves under head coach Mike Tomlin and because of their consistent success in both the AFC North and the league as a whole. But following Kenny Pickett's ankle injury during a 24-10 loss to the Arizona Cardinals, they could be pushed to do the unthinkable and violate a major unwritten rule. Don't grab anyone unnecessarily in a pileup. Try to avoid taking out players who aren't directly involved in the action. Follow the rules of seniority by keeping quiet as a rookie and respecting the long-standing members of the league. Don't celebrate excessively when you make a big play while on the wrong end of a lopsided score. The list of unwritten rules goes on, varying from source to source. Each source, though, likely includes the fundamental idea that players shouldn't lose their jobs while rehabbing an injury suffered during a game. Well, the Steelers now have no choice but to seriously think about a flagrant violation of that particular guideline. Midway through the second quarter of the loss to Arizona, Pickett, already operating with tape on his previously injured right ankle, scrambled for the end zone on a third-and-goal play. Not only was he stopped short of pay dirt, but he also limped off the field while receiving assistance from the training staff before going first to the injury tent and then to the locker room. He later returned to the sidelines with a boot on his right foot. Per the Pittsburgh Post-Gazette's Jerry Dulac, the quarterback had to go under the knife and is now expected to miss between 2 and 4 weeks. If Pickett returns on the early end of that window, he'd miss a Thursday night football outing against the New England Patriots and potentially a road game against the Indianapolis Colts in Week 15. Should the Steelers slow play his return to the field, especially given his ever-growing injury history and prior ankle-related mishaps, he might not be able to return until the regular season finale against the Baltimore Ravens on January 7. Either way, Pittsburgh will turn to the right arm of 2020 Nickelodeon valuable player Mitchell Trubisky, who completed 11 of his 17 passes for 117 yards and a touchdown in relief of Pickett against Arizona. Trubisky made 7 appearances, 5 starts, for Pittsburgh during the 2022 season and held his own with an 81.1 quarterback rating, a 65.0 completion percentage and 4 touchdowns to 5 interceptions through the air, also rushing for 38 yards and a pair of scores. The 29-year-old has 3 appearances under his belt in 2023, though it's hard to read much into a 49-pass sample off the bench. Considering the Steelers are in the thick of the AFC North race at 7-5, tied with the Cleveland Browns and 2 games behind the Ravens for the divisional crown, Mike Tomlin and the rest of the organization's decision-makers could opt for continuity over upside during the closing portion of the calendar. That's especially true if they continue to reside at the forefront of the AFC wildcard conversation, where they're currently one of 4 non-division leading squads with identical records. Plus, it's not like Pickett has been particularly impressive. Since he entered the league as the number 20 pick of the 2022 NFL Draft, he's struggled to perform at a consistently high level despite consecutive years with a 7-5 mark as the quarterback of record. His grade at Pro Football Focus has declined from 75.5 as a rookie to 70.6 as a sophomore. The NFL QB Index at NFL.com has him at number 22 overall. So on and so forth for a signal caller who has given little indication that he's set to join the upper echelon of players at his position. In fact, the Steelers themselves may have been close to pulling the plug on the experiment. After the Cleveland game, there was some discussion that maybe a change needed to be made at the position because of the way Pickett had been struggling for those 3 games, right up until the mess in Cleveland, team insider Jerry Dulac reported during an appearance on the 102.5 WDV morning show, Hat Tip Steelers Depot. Mike Tomlin explains why Steelers chose Mitch Trubisky. The Pittsburgh Steelers have 2 options to replace the injured Kenny Pickett on their roster currently, but head coach Mike Tomlin was clear in the wake of a loss to the Arizona Cardinals that his team would roll with Mitch Trubisky over Mason Rudolph this week against the New England Patriots. There's a simple reason why the Steelers like Trubisky over Rudolph as the second stringer. Trubisky is simply better prepared to work with the first-team offense because of how the team divides up snaps in practice. You can't give work to 3 guys, to be quite honest with you, Tomlin said. Most of Mason Rudolph's work comes on scout team offense, and so Mitch has been in position to get the most work. Tomlin went on to explain that Trubisky has gravity as a leader and experience as the centerpiece that makes him an ideal candidate to be the Steelers' backup and earn those elevated reps in practice. He and the rest of the team feel comfortable with Trubisky leading their offense. He has an outgoing and welcoming personality, he's a good communicator, he's been a franchise quarterback before so he's comfortable in those shoes, Tomlin said. He doesn't behave like a backup that's being elevated and I think those are the things that make him attractive. Steelers in talks with Dolphins, report. The Steelers and San Francisco have a lot of shared DNA, but Steelers could add a former Niner in the near future. Linebacker Reuben Foster was a former San Francisco first-round pick who didn't pan out. But he may be getting another chance with the Steelers. On December 4, ESPN insider Adam Schefter reported that Foster is expected to visit the Steelers for a workout in December. Foster hasn't played in the regular season since 2018, but played for the USFL's Pittsburgh Maulers earlier this year. Foster was selected in the first round by the 49ers in 2017 after starring at Alabama from 2013 to 2016. However, his off-the-field issues cut short his time with San Francisco and ultimately caused him to be out of the league for several years. For one reason or another, the Steelers believe Foster deserves a look. Good linebackers are hard to find, and revitalizing Foster could be a sneaky way to improve your group. Despite playing 10 games as a rookie in 2017, Foster was named third in Defensive Rookie of the Year voting with 59 solo tackles, 7 tackles for loss and 1 pass defended. It was a strong start despite suffering a significant ankle injury. The problem was that Foster's actions off the field were problematic. During the winter and spring of 2018, the former Alabama star was arrested on 2 separate occasions and charged in connection with the latest incident with an ex-girlfriend. The charges included domestic violence, possession of a weapon and infliction of bodily harm, according to NFL.com. Foster's ex-girlfriend later recanted her allegations, causing the domestic violence charge to be dropped. However, his other charges led to the NFL suspending him for 2 games in 2018, but still allowed in the league. Foster was then arrested again on domestic violence charges the following November. San Francisco released him from the lineup, which led Washington's Commanders to claim him. The NFL's subsequent investigation then stated that there was no evidence to support a suspension. Foster was scheduled to play in the 2019 season. But his potential return was cut short by an injury. Foster tore his ACL and LCL during his first practice with Washington in May 2019. He was expected back the following season, but was placed on injured reserve again and never took the field for Washington again. It's not uncommon for a team to share DNA with another NFL team. And you fan, what do you think of the Reuben Foster situation? Leave your opinion in the comments.